Okay, let's dive right into a really striking passage today. Isaiah chapter 20. It throws us straight into a specific historical moment.
It really does. We're told it's the exact year that the Assyrian supreme commander captures Ashdod. And this is important. He was sent by King Sargon himself.
Right, so this isn't just some minor event. This is big league Assyrian power flexing its muscles.
Exactly. A very clear signal of who's dominant in the region at that time.
And right in the middle of all this geopolitical tension, we get Isaiah, the son of Amos, and he receives this instruction from the Lord that's just, well, it's pretty out there.
It is definitely unusual. The command is basically take off your sackcloth. That's, the rough mourning garment he might typically wear.
Okay.
And take off your sandals. So the instruction is to go around stripped and barefoot.
Tripped and barefoot. And he actually does it.
He does. And, not just for an afternoon walk. The source says he kept this up for 3 years.
3 years. Going around stripped and barefoot. I mean, can you imagine? People must have thought he'd lost his mind. What could that possibly signify?
Well, thankfully, we don't have to guess for too long. The Lord explains it. It's called a sign and a portent.
Okay, a sign, pointing towards something. But directed at whom?
Specifically, Egypt and Cush. Cush being roughly modern Sudan, maybe parts of Ethiopia, powers to the south.
All right, the very powers that maybe Judah or other smaller nations might be tempted to rely on, perhaps looking for an ally against Assyria.
Precisely. Those are the targets of the sign.
So if Isaiah's very public, very strange 3-year act is a message about Egypt and Cush, what's the actual message? What does the sign, portend?
It predicts what the king of Assyria is going to do. It says, just like Isaiah went stripped and barefoot, the king of Assyria will lead away captives and exiles from both Egypt and Cush, young and old, stripped and barefoot.
Wow. Okay, mirroring Isaiah's state exactly.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
There's one more detail, actually. The text adds, with buttocks bared.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's graphic.
Yeah.
And incredibly specific. Why add that detail? What's the point there?
It's about total humiliation.
Mm.
I mean, being stripped naked in that culture was profound shame, vulnerability. Adding buttocks bared just drives home the absolute degradation, the complete defeat.
Yeah, it removes any shred of dignity, utter disgrace.
It really underscores the totality of the shame involved in their defeat. It's not just being captured, it's being publicly shamed to the extreme.
Okay, that makes sense. And it connects directly to the impact this is supposed to have on onlookers.
Yeah.
Right? Particularly those who might have been pinning their hopes on Egypt or Cush.
Absolutely. The source spells it out. Those who were trusting in Cush may be boasting about their connection to Egypt.
They're potential protectors.
Exactly. They will see this happen, see these powerful nations, people subjected to this shame, and they'll be terrified. They'll be put to shame themselves because their trust was misplaced.
It's like watching your safety net just completely unravel in the most humiliating way possible.
Yes. And then we get the reaction from the people on the coast, probably referring to Judah, Philistia, places like that, who were watching Assyria.
What do they say?
They basically say, look what happened to the ones we were relying on, the ones we ran to for help to escape the king of Assyria.
So seeing the failure of their chosen allies forces an immediate, desperate question.
Right. Their next thought is the core of the problem. How then can we escape? If Egypt and Cush, these major powers, end up like this, what hope is there for us?
It really exposes the danger, the fragility of relying solely on human power structures, military alliances, political maneuvering.
Yeah, what do you do when those things you trusted are themselves captured and shamed so publicly?
So this short chapter, through this really intense visual prophecy from Isaiah, delivers a powerful punch.
It does. It's a stark demonstration that putting your ultimate hope in earthly powers like Egypt and Cush were seen then is futile against a force like Assyria, and by extension, perhaps, against overwhelming historical forces or divine judgment.
It strips away any illusion of security that comes from things that can be broken, defeated, and shamed.
Exactly.
That leaves us with that question from the coastal dwellers, doesn't it? How then can we escape? If relying on human strength leads to this kind of dead end, well, the passage doesn't explicitly state the alternative, but by showing what doesn't work.
It strongly implies you need to look elsewhere for true security, for real escape, not in alliances that can be shattered so completely.
Definitely something for you, the listener, to think about. Where does that kind of unshakable security lie?